on MENA, and I'm optimist by nature, but also realist. I'll cover this in possibly 2 or 3 angles. One is MENA has possibly the highest youth unemployment in the world, at I think 27-28%. And MENA needs to create, according to the IMF, about 30 million new jobs by 2030 for it to employ its youth. And MENA loses roughly around 2% of its GDP because its integration is way behind what it should be regionally. I mean, if you compare it to the EU trade, intra-trade is about 60%. In the MENA region, it's about 8%, which shows you the potential. So that's the negative side. The positive side is you have a fantastic youth, a region, unlike most other regions in the world, that is young. Most of the population are young, technology savvy, ready to make a change. And for that to happen, you will need to focus on human capital and reskill your people. 40% of enterprises in the MENA, when we're asked about youth and employment, they said 40% have a serious mismatch. So while we have unemployment, they still need employees, but they don't find them because of the skill mismatch. Which means if we focus on human capital, if we focus on skilling our people in MENA, I think the potential is absolutely high. MENA is the home of 48% of oil. 48% of oil reserves sits in MENA. MENA hosts significant wealth of mining and minerals. And if you combine these with youth, the youth power, I think if you have the right ingredients to ignite that power, we could do wonders in MENA. In my view, MENA is heading actually in the right direction in 25. Obviously, there are some headwinds, but potentially we would likely to see a lot of forces within the region, but also our partners from outside the region, to seize the opportunity to make sure that what's happening in Lebanon will last, what's happening in Syria will last and be supported, and the ceasefire in Gaza continues, and that with the right ingredients of reforming governments, reforming governance, and utilizing technology to your own competitive advantage in the region, I think we would see a new region potentially. Is this going to happen in 25? I don't think so, but I think the potential for 25 is positive. I think 26 will be positive. I'm not worried about the noises that some analysts make about the region.
Your Excellency, briefly, how about Saudi Arabia? We know that last year Saudi grew by less than 1%, and this is mainly due to the cut in oil production. However, the non-oil economy performed very well. And now we have seen a downgrade of projections from the IMF for the Saudi economy. It was dropped by 1.3% to 3.3% for 2025. How does this align with your projections?
It doesn't matter what really the total GDP number is, to be honest. I mean, the whole idea of Saudi Vision 2030 is to diversify our economy. So our focus is really the non-oil GDP, and non-oil GDP has been growing very healthy over the last few years and will continue to do so. The last quarter, the growth is 4.3% roughly, and we are likely to see that growth escalating in the medium term. That is really the focus. I've said in a panel this morning, GDP, we need to be very careful when we look at GDP as a measure for growth, because you need to look at other indicators. There is no point of having GDP. We can, I mean, this is actually a self-decided policy to lower our GDP by lowering our oil production.